I will never forget the morning when everything changed. The morning when a billionaire froze in the doorway of his own office, staring at a small homeless boy who shouldn't have been there. The air conditioning hummed softly. The polished marble floor shined like a mirror. Everything was quiet, too quiet, until the little boy looked up and his eyes met the billionaire's. For a moment, time stopped. The billionaire, Sir Kamau, one of the richest men in East Africa, stepped back as if he had seen a ghost. "Oh, who are you?" he whispered. The boy didn't answer. He just kept wiping the floor with a tiny torn cloth, his hands trembling, his clothes ragged, his feet bare and bruised. His small ribs showed through his skin like he hadn't eaten in days. Sir Kamau swallowed hard. A billion-dollar empire was under his command. Yet this tiny child made him feel powerless. Security guards rushed in, breathless. "Sir, we found him sleeping in the storage room. We were going to remove him." "Stop," Kamau said firmly, raising his hand. His eyes never left the child. Something in that boy's face, something in those eyes. It struck him deep, like a memory he'd forgotten but couldn't escape. "Leave us," Kamau ordered. The guards hesitated. "Sir, but—" I said, "Leave us alone." When the doors shut, silence swallowed the huge office again. The boy kept cleaning, trying not to look afraid. Sir Kamau slowly crouched down. "What's your name, son?" The boy stopped wiping, just for a second, then whispered, "Lebo." His voice was soft, weak, but there was something else beneath it, pain, and a secret buried deep. "What are you doing here?" Kamau asked gently. "Why are you cleaning my office? Who told you to come?" The boy shook his head. "No one. I'm sorry, sir. I was only trying to stay warm." He looked like he might break into tears. Kamau felt something heavy twist inside his chest. He didn't understand why this child affected him so much, but he could feel it. This boy wasn't normal. This boy wasn't random. This boy was connected to him, somehow. And then, the boy said something that made Kamau's blood run cold. He whispered, "My mother told me, if anything ever happened to her, I should find you." Kamau froze. Completely. What did you say?" he stammered. Lebo looked up at him, his eyes filling with tears. "She said, you're the only one who can protect me." The billionaire felt the ground shift beneath his feet. This child, this homeless boy, cleaning his office floor with his tiny hands, knew his name, knew his mother, knew something he shouldn't. Kamau leaned forward, breath trembling. "Your mother's name?" he asked quietly. What is her name?" The boy hesitated, then answered, "Amina." Sir Kamau stumbled back like he had been struck. His hand shook. His heart pounded wildly. Amina, a name he had spent 15 years trying to forget. A name that once meant everything to him. A name that carried the heaviest regret of his life. How do you know that name?" Kamau whispered. The boy stared at him with haunted eyes. "Because," he said softly, "she was my mother." Kamau's breath stopped, and before she died, the boy wiped his tears with his dirty sleeve. "She told me you are my father." The billionaire's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. He dropped to his knees. His mind raced. His lungs burned. No, that's not possible," he whispered. But deep inside, he knew. He knew the truth before the words even left the boy's lips. Lebo looked at him with trembling fear. "She said you would help me. She said you would keep me safe." Sir Kamau, a man feared in business, a man respected across nations, fell apart like a broken child. His voice cracked as he whispered the words he never expected to say. "Oh God, what have I done?" This was the beginning. The moment his past exploded into his present. The moment a billionaire discovered a secret that would change everything. And if you want more emotional African stories like this, please like and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a new story. This was only the first layer. The real truth, the painful truth, was still buried deep. Before going forward, please like and subscribe my channel, The African Heart Tales, where each story can bring you a great lesson about life. When Lebo finished speaking, the room fell into a silence so heavy that even the ticking of the wall clock felt loud. Musa, the narrator and Kamau's most trusted driver, stood just outside the half-open door, listening, my heart pounding in my chest. I had never, in all my years serving him, seen Sir Kamau fall apart. This man had survived boardroom wars, political attacks, betrayals, and scandals. But one sentence from a starving little boy had crushed him. She said, "You are my father." Sir Kamau's lips trembled. His hands shook. His eyes turned glassy, filled with memories he had buried long ago. "Lebo," he whispered. "Your mother, Amina, when did she die?" The boy looked down, clutching the cloth to his chest as if it were a shield. 2 months ago, he murmured. "After she got sick. She tried to be strong, but—" His voice cracked. He wiped his tears quickly, like someone used to crying alone. Kamau's chest tightened painfully. Where did you live all this time?" "In the streets," Lebo whispered. "In the market, near the old bus station. I worked for food. Sometimes I slept under tables or behind the shops. I came here because she said if anything happened, I must find you." His small voice shook. "I didn't know you were a rich man. I didn't know this place was so big. I only had a picture she gave me of this building. So I waited and snuck in when the guards changed shifts. A picture of Kamau's empire given by Amina, a woman he once loved." Kamau closed his eyes, fighting to breathe. He slowly reached into his wallet and pulled out something old, hidden, almost forgotten. A faded photograph. 2 young people. Amina smiling. Kamau holding her hand. He stared at it for a long moment and then whispered, "I never knew she had a son." Lebo looked up quickly. "She told me she didn't want to disturb your life. She said you were busy, important, and maybe you wouldn't want us." Kamau felt a sharp sting in his chest. "I didn't know," he whispered again. "If I had known," but he didn't finish the sentence, because they both knew the truth. If he had known, if he had searched harder, if he hadn't walked away from Amina all those years ago, this child would never have suffered, never slept hungry, never begged, never cleaned offices for warmth. Kamau stood, breathing hard, tried to regain control. "Musa," he called abruptly. I stepped in, pretending I hadn't heard everything, but Kamau's trembling eyes told me he knew I had. "Yes, sir. Give me the head of security. Now." "Yes, sir." As I left, I heard Kamau kneel again and whisper to Lebo, "I will not lose you too. Never again." Within minutes, the head of security arrived. He stood stiff, nervous, sensing something serious was happening. Kamau spoke calmly, but the calmness was dangerous. "This boy came from the streets. He has been sleeping in my building, and all of you failed to notice." "Sir, Silence." The man swallowed. "You will find out how he got in, who helped him, and why no one reported him earlier." "But sir, he is just a child." "Exactly," Kamau interrupted, voice tightening. "He is a child, a homeless child, and somehow he slipped through a building protected with millions of dollars worth of security systems." The head of security froze. Lebo hugged himself, shivering slightly. Kamau continued, "If a little boy can enter like this, anyone can. This is not just a child's survival story. This is a breach." The head of security bowed his head. "We will review every camera, every shift record, every entry point." Kamau nodded. "Good, because this child did not come here by accident." Lebo looked up, confused. "What do you mean, sir?" Kamau's eyes darkened. "I mean, someone may have brought you here, or wanted you to find me, for a reason." A chill ran through my spine. What reason? Why now? Why after 15 years? Why after Amina's death? Was it guilt? Coincidence? Or something darker? Kamau placed a hand on Lebo's shoulder. "For now, you're coming with me." "And me?" the boy whispered. "Yes," Kamau said. "You will stay in my house. You are not sleeping on the streets again." Lebo's eyes widened in disbelief. "But sir, I don't want to cause trouble." "You are not trouble," Kamau said firmly. "You are blood." Tears spilled down the boy's cheeks, and something in Kamau's heart broke even deeper. As we walked out of the building toward the car, people stared. A billionaire with a homeless child? Rumors were already starting. I opened the back door. Kamau helped Lebo in gently, as if he were made of glass. Then Kamau leaned close to me. "Musa," he whispered, "there is something wrong here. Amina would never send a child alone unless she was desperate." I nodded. "You think someone wanted the boy to reach you?" Kamau's jaw tightened. "I think Amina died with a secret. And I think this boy carries part of that secret inside him. He stared ahead, voice filled with steel. And I'll find out who, or what, forced her to send him. As the car drove away, I looked at Lebo in the mirror. He was staring out the window, scared, unsure, but holding something in his hand. A folded paper. A letter. He opened it slightly, and I saw the first line. If you're reading this, it means I am gone. A letter from Amina. A letter meant for Sir Kamau. A letter that could destroy everything. And Lebo had not given it to him yet. The ride to the mansion was long and silent. Too silent. Lebo sat in the back seat, clutching the folded letter like it was the only thing keeping him alive. He kept his eyes lowered, as if afraid the world would judge him for simply existing. Sir Kamau kept glancing at him. His face was tight, jaw clenched, eyes full of questions he didn't dare ask yet. Musa drove, but I watched them in the mirror, and each passing minute, the tension grew thicker. Finally, Kamau spoke. Lebo, what is it you're holding? The boy froze. He quickly hid the letter under his thin shirt. And nothing, sir. Kamau's brows furrowed. Lebo, I'm not angry, but if there is something your mother wanted me to know. The boy swallowed hard. I'm not ready yet. That answer struck Kamau deep. He didn't push. He simply nodded. Whenever you are ready, he whispered. And so, the secret remained sealed for now. When we reached the estate, the guard stood straighter than usual. The sight of a billionaire carrying a homeless child in his arms. It wasn't something they ever expected to witness. Kamau didn't let Lebo walk. He carried him, through the gates, across the marble floor, into the grand living room. Servants stared confused. Prepare a room, Kamau commanded. The best one. A maid stepped forward uncertainly. But, sir, for the boy. Yes, Kamau said sharply. For the boy. Even I felt surprised. The billionaire had brought many important guests home, but never had I seen him show so much care to anyone, especially not a child, and especially not with tears silently shining in his eyes. The servants opened the door to a room fit for royalty. Soft gold curtains, a large warm bed, soft lights, clean clothes folded neatly. Lebo stepped inside slowly, as if he had entered heaven. He touched the clean bed sheets with his fingertips. His voice cracked. I can sleep here. Kamau nodded gently. This is your room. The boy covered his face as tears fell. He tried to hide them, but couldn't. I've never slept on a bed before. Silence fell. Kamau froze. Never? Not even once? His heart twisted painfully. He stepped closer and placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. From today, he whispered, you will never sleep on the floor again. Lebo nodded, wiping his tears. Later that evening, as the mansion settled into a quiet calm, I found Kamau standing on the balcony alone. His eyes were dark, distant. Musa, he said softly, you have served me for 18 years. You know my past better than most. Yes, sir, I replied carefully. He took a deep breath. I made mistakes, but abandoning Amina was not one I ever intended to make. I said nothing. Some wounds don't need words, only silence. Kamau continued. When I left her, I thought I was protecting her. There were people after me, enemies in business. My partner, Jim, he wanted my shares. He wanted to destroy everything. Amina was in danger because of me. He gripped the railing tightly. So I walked away, thinking distance would keep her safe. I felt a cold shiver crawl up my spine. Jim. Everyone feared that name. A ruthless man. A man capable of anything. I swallowed. You think he had something to do with her death? I asked quietly. Kamau's silence was my answer. The next morning, everything changed again. A maid rushed into the dining hall, trembling. Sir, there was a note outside the gate. A note? Kamau asked. Yes, sir, but it was addressed to the boy. Kamau's fork stopped halfway. To Lebo. The maid nodded and handed him a small envelope. Kamau opened it. I stood behind him, reading over his shoulder. Inside was a single line. He does not belong to you. Stay away or lose everything. My stomach twisted. Kamau's eyes burned with rage. Who wrote this? He demanded. The maid shook her head. It was left anonymously. Lebo, who had just entered the room, saw the note. His face went pale. No, not again. They found me. He backed away, shaking. Lebo, Kamau said urgently, kneeling beside him. Who found you? Who wrote this note? The boy shook his head violently. I can't. I can't say. They will hurt me. They will hurt you. Lebo, Kamau said firmly but gently. I will protect you. No one will hurt you. Tears streamed down the boy's face. You don't understand. They already hurt my mother. The room fell silent. His small hands trembled so violently that the letter slipped from his fingers. Kamau picked it up, fury darkening his eyes. Musa, he said through clenched teeth, search the area. Find anyone suspicious. Check the cameras. Yes, sir. I rushed out immediately. But deep inside, I knew. This was not a warning. This was a beginning. And whoever had written that note was the same person Amina feared. The same person who made her send Lebo to the billionaire. The same person who didn't want the truth to come out. That night, long after everyone had gone to their rooms, Lebo approached Kamau quietly. His voice was barely a whisper. Sir, I think it's time you read the letter. Kamau slowly lifted his head. Are you sure? Lebo nodet. She wanted you to know everything. He handed the folded, worn-out paper to the billionaire. Kamau unfolded it slowly. His eyes began reading, and the moment he reached the second line, his hands started shaking, because Amina had written something he never expected, something that would tear open wounds he didn't know still existed, something that would change the entire story. But that truth comes next. I ain't ever going to forget that night. The air itself felt heavy, like the darkness was holding its breath, waiting for something awful or something divine. I stood outside Mr. Kofi Mintz's mansion, the billionaire himself, holding a small black envelope he had handed me earlier. He said only one thing before disappearing into his car. Read it tonight, and come back to me when you're ready to hear the truth. The truth? About me? About my life? About why a billionaire looked at a homeless boy like he had seen a ghost. My hands shook as I walked back toward the old construction shed where I slept. The city lights shimmered on the wet roads, and the wind whispered through the half-built buildings like spirits passing through broken bones. Inside the shed, I sat on the cold floor. My heart hammered. I opened the envelope. A photograph slipped out. I froze. It was a picture of my mother, young, smiling, standing next to a man who looked exactly like a younger version of Kofi Mintza. My breath stopped. My ears filled with a loud ringing. My chest tightened like someone had tied iron chains around my ribs. That was impossible. My mother never mentioned knowing him, never hinted at a life before the streets. Hands trembling, I unfolded the paper behind the photo. A letter written in a deep, bold handwriting. Kwame, if you're reading this, it means fate has finally brought you where you belong. What your mother never told you is this. You are my son. The floor wavered in front of my eyes. My voice came out broken. W what? I picked up the paper again. Years ago, your mother and I were young, in love, and reckless with dreams. But my family refused her. They forced us apart. When she disappeared, I searched for years. I never found you, until the day I saw you sweeping my office floor. And I recognized myself in your eyes. Asterisk. Something inside me cracked open. My heartbeat turned into a thunderstorm. Tears I didn't invite filled my eyes. Me, the son of Africa's richest tech giant? The letter continued. I could not tell you immediately. I needed to be sure. I had your past traced. I know about the streets. I know about the shelter. I know how you survived. And I take the blame for every hunger, every cold night you lived without a father. Come to me tomorrow. There is more you must know. Kofi Mintza. The letter slipped from my fingers. I leaned back against the wall, breathing hard. The ceiling felt too low. The shed felt too small. My life felt too unreal. But the storm inside me was not finished. Because right then, the old wooden door creaked open. Kwame, you okay? It was Mama Zuri, the woman from the food shelter who had helped me since childhood. Her soft footsteps approached. You look like you've seen a ghost. I wiped my face quickly. Manga. The words cracked before they formed. She glanced at the photo and the letter on the ground. Silence. A deep, heavy silence. Then she sighed like she had been carrying a secret for years. Oh, so he finally told you. My world froze again. I looked at her. What do you mean finally? She sat beside me, the wood creaking under her weight. Her eyes glistened with a strange sadness. Your mother, she asked me to protect you. She feared that if his family ever found out you existed, they would take you away, or worse. Mama Zuri shook her head. She never hated him. She only feared the power surrounding him. My throat tightened. You knew? All this time, she nodded softly. I promised your mother, and I don't break promises. My breath staggered. Mama, what am I supposed to do now? She put her warm, wrinkled hand over mine. You walk toward the truth, child, no matter how heavy it feels. Her voice softened. But the truth you're walking into, it won't be easy. Wealth comes with shadows. Power comes with enemies. And your father, he's a good man, but he is surrounded by wolves. Something cold twisted inside my chest. What wolves? That's when she stood up, slowly, painfully, like the weight of the world had settled on her shoulders. Tomorrow, everything will change. For all of us. Before I could ask, she left the shed, her figure fading into the night. I sat alone, my mind a hurricane. A billionaire was my father. A secret had been kept from me my whole life. Dark forces surrounded my new reality. And tomorrow, I would step into a world I had never imagined. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the man watching me from the shadows outside the shed. A tall figure, face hidden, a cigarette burning like a tiny red eye in the night. He waited silently, then whispered into the darkness. So the boy knows. And he walked away, leaving behind fear that tasted like poison in my mouth. The truth wasn't just going to break me. It was going to pull me into a war I never asked for. Tomorrow, the real story begins. The sun rose with a strange, heavy silence, like the world already knew my life was about to change. I walked toward the tallest building in the city, Mensa Global Headquarters, a place I used to sweep floors in, but today I walked toward it not as a cleaner, but as a son. My stomach twisted with every step. The letter felt like it was burning inside my pocket. When the guards saw me, they nodded respectfully. That alone almost stopped my heart. Mr. Mensa is expecting you, one said. Mr. Mensa. Soon, that name would mean something very different. The elevator climbed, so high my ears popped. When the doors opened, I stepped into a wide glass office overlooking the entire city. And there he was, Kofi Mensa, the billionaire, the man half of Africa respected, and the man who, apparently, had given me life. He turned slowly, his calm eyes meeting mine with a softness I had never seen in him before. Kwame, he said quietly. Kulme. My legs almost refused to move, but somehow I walked forward. He gestured to 2 chairs near a massive window. We sat. He studied my face as though trying to memorize every line. I owe you the truth, he said. I swallowed hard. I read the letter. Pain flickered in his eyes, real, raw pain. I knew your mother before any of this, he said, motioning toward the empire around him. We were young, fearless, and we thought love was enough to fight the world. But my family, powerful, ruthless, did not approve. He took a deep, trembling breath. They threatened her. They threatened you, even before you were born. She left to protect you. My jaw tightened. And you didn't look for us? His voice cracked. I did, son, for years. But your mother vanished so completely, even my power meant nothing. The word son pierced through me like lightning. I didn't know whether to cry, scream, or hug him. And now? I asked. He leaned back, eyes heavy with regret. When you walked into my office as a cleaner, sweeping the floor of a life you should have inherited, I recognized you instantly. Your mother's eyes, my jawline, even the way you clench your fist when you were nervous, exactly like me. My chest tightened. I wanted to tell you immediately, he said, but I had to be sure. For your safety. Safety? That word hit wrong. What danger are you talking about? He hesitated, then pressed a button on his desk. A massive screen lit up. CCTV footage appeared. Footage of the mysterious man who had been watching me outside the shed. My heart jumped into my throat. That man, Kofi said, works for my half-brother. A man who believes that if I die without a public heir, he will inherit everything. Money, power, control. The room spun. My mind fought to catch up. So he thinks I'm a threat? Kofi's voice went cold. Now that he knows the truth, yes. My blood froze. But how would he know? I whispered. Kofi looked at me painfully. Because someone told him. Before I could speak, the office door burst open. I flinched. A woman stepped in, and my heart almost stopped. Manga, Zuri. But her face was not soft today. Her eyes held a storm I had never seen. She looked at Kofi, then at me. It's time he knows everything, she said. Kofi stood up sharply. You shouldn't be here. Mama Zuri walked toward us, slow, deliberate. I protected this boy since he was born, she said, but I didn't do it alone. She pointed at Kofi. And I didn't do it for you. My breath hitched. What are you talking about? She turned to me, tears trembling in her eyes. Your mother left you with me because she trusted me. But she also asked me to keep an eye on him. She pointed again at Kofi, because she didn't trust the forces around him. Kofi's voice was tight. Zuri, don't do this. Oh, I must, she said bitterly. You think hiding the truth keeps him safe? The wolves already know. Your half-brother knows. His men followed you last night, Kwame. My heart lurched. Followed me? What? Kofi's jaw locked. To take leverage. To use you against me. The room felt cold. Sharp. Dangerous. I stood up. What do they want from me? His answer was a single word. Everything. Suddenly, boom. The building shook. The glass walls trembled. Security alarm screamed. Kofi rushed to the window. A black SUV exploded outside the building's entrance. My ears rang. Mama Zuri pulled me down. They're here, she shouted. Guards ran down the hallway, yelling orders. The office door burst open again, this time with armed security. Sir, we need to evacuate. Kofi grabbed my shoulder. Stay close. Don't leave my sight. I followed him through a private exit behind a bookshelf. Mama Zuri stayed right behind me. The hallway was narrow, metallic, a secret passage leading toward an underground vault. As we ran, Kofi spoke quickly, urgently. Kwame, listen to me. My brother wants to erase me from the family line. And now that you exist, you are the last obstacle. My voice cracked. So this is a war. No, he said. This is a hunt. We reached a steel door. Kofi pressed his fingerprint to unlock it. Inside is safety, he said. Stay close. But as the door opened, a man stepped inside the passage. The same man from the shadows. So, he said quietly, the boy truly exists. Kofi stepped in front of me. His voice roared like a lion. You will not touch my son. The man smiled coldly. Oh, brother, it's too late for that. Before he could reach for the gun hidden under his coat, Mama Zuri moved faster than both of us. She grabbed him from behind, twisted his arm, and slammed him against the wall with a strength I never knew she carried. Run, she yelled. Go. But Kofi didn't move. We don't leave you. Yes, you do, she snapped. Your mother saved you once. Now let me do it too. Her eyes softened as she looked at me. You were never just a boy to me. You were my promise. Tears blurred my vision. Mama. Go. Kofi dragged me through the steel door as guards rushed in. The door slammed shut. The last thing I heard was Mama Zuri's voice raging like a warrior, and the sound of a struggle that tore through my heart. Inside the vault, Kofi held my shoulders as I trembled. You are not alone anymore, he said softly. You are my son, and I will protect you, even if it costs everything. I closed my eyes. My life as a homeless boy had ended. My life as an heir, as a target, as a son, had just begun. The truth didn't just break me. It rebuilt me into someone new.